Okay guys, as I told you earlier today, I was going to make part 2. I hope you do watch and study this one along with part 1. The good thing about this one, I did find my pencil to help out with my writing, and I did also make sure I grabbed my calculator. So we're going to actually use the quadratic formula instead of factoring. Okay, so just remember guys, if I do give you a word problem tomorrow, right, you should know that whatever two functions I give you, in this case, we're trying to figure out where they're equal to each other, right? Where the break-even point is. And so the idea is we have one curve and then we have another function, and we're going to look to where they intersect each other, right? But anyways, I'll show that to you here shortly. But anyways, let's get going here. So I already know I'm going to take the negative 2x squared plus 40x, and I know somehow it's going to equal 10x. So I'm trying to find that break-even point between my selling profits, basically, what I'm taking in selling versus the cost of developing or making these t-shirts, right? And now that I have them equal to each other, I got to now take this quadratic and make it equal to 0. So right here, hopefully you notice, I'm going to minus 10x both sides. I'm also going to minus 100 both sides. And the idea is, on the left, you can see I have negative 2x squared. I have a plus 40x. Oh, sorry, minus 10 is a plus 30x. Been a long day, guys. And of course, minus 100. And that's equal to 0 because 10 minus 10 is 0. 100 minus 100 is 0. And now I know right here that my a is negative 2 because the a always goes with your x squared term. I know right here my b must be positive 30 because whatever numbers with the x, your coefficient of x, is always going to be your b. And the number without a variable is always your constant, as we call it, the c. So c is negative 100. And so we're actually going to use a quadratic formula. So here we go. We're going to take the negative of our b, which was 30, plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a. A was negative 2. C was negative 100. The whole thing divided by 2 times a. This is where we should pause and make sure we did plug in our a, b's, and c correctly. And we did. We always do the square root last, right, guys? So right here, I know I have a negative 30. Right here, I have a negative 4. Plus or minus the square root. Over here, I went ahead and used the calculator. I want to remind you, always be careful with your negatives because this one had a couple negative numbers, right? And always use parentheses, guys. Make that your habit. But anyways, I get 100. And of course, the square root of 100 is 10. So now I'm ready to find my two answers, right? I got negative 30. That's that right there. I'm going to plus the 10. Divide by the negative 4. I'm then going to take the negative 30 one more time. I'm now going to minus this 10 and divide by negative 4 as well. And we're going to end up with two answers here potentially here. So let's see here. The 10 minus 30 is negative 20 divided by negative 4 is positive 5. And here, negative 40 divided by negative 4 is positive 10. Now what? Well, I would take the easier equation if I need to find the ordered pairs. Let's assume you needed to, right? X sometimes is the answer we need. In this case, X is the answer. So we have two answers here. Let's just stop there. But we know we have to sell between 5. I think if we read the problem, it's in hundreds or thousands. X per day is, so money taken, the amount of money it costs to make t-shirts is modeled by, oh, they did not say our units. That's a bad word problem overall. But anyways, let's assume, guys, because these are small numbers, let's say 5 represents 5,000. We're just going to make that up and pretend. And 10 represents 10,000. So we now know we have to sell between 5 to 10,000 shirts for us to make the profit. Okay? So I wanted to also remind you, of course, we could go to decimals. Look right here. And we should notice we will look for the intersection points. Now, normally we want both X and Y. So here is, of course, the 10. Here, of course, is a 5. If we were to plug it in here, we would get the 200 and the 150. Again, if this is in thousands, that's $200,000 versus $150,000. Okay? And that, again, is how you use a quadratic formula, how you set up the problem and solve it. Let's do one more that we did in review last week. Let's say we have a ball, we throw it up in the air, and this is the one where we have also the bird here flying at a linear pattern. Our ball is following a parabolic or quadratic path, right? Again, we want to know when the bird and the ball reach the same height. Well, we are going to set them equal to each other. So notice I'm setting each equation equal to each other. All right? So now to solve this one, I have to minus 3t both sides and minus 48 both sides. So I have negative 16t squared. Let's go ahead and put this on the next screen. Negative 16t squared. 67 minus 3 is a positive 64t. And a minus 48. And that now equals 0 because 3 minus 3t is 0. 48 minus 48 is also 0. Again, to speed things up, this is my A, this is my B, this is my C. I'm going to use a quadratic formula. Negative of the B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4 times the A times the C all over 2 times the A. This, of course, is negative 64. This is negative 32 plus or minus. Over here, as you can see, I use parentheses. I was careful with my negatives. I got 1024. The square root of 1024, as you can see here, is 32. And so I'm going to have two potential answers. I'm going to take negative 64 plus 32 divided by negative 32. And I'm going to take negative 64 minus 32 divided by that negative 32. Negative 32 divided by negative 32 is 1. As you can see, it's right here in my graph right there. Remember, you're always looking for those intersection points, right? This is negative 96 over negative 32. That's a positive 3, which is right there proven by decimals. If we needed the y values, we would take the 1 and 3. We would plug it into our easier equation to find 51 and the 57 respectively. Okay, so guys, hopefully you'll watch and study this video. Maybe practice along using your calculator, doing the quadratic formula. I'm hoping for very good results tomorrow, guys. So please do not let me down. Rewind and watch this video and pause this video if you need to. I'll see you in class.